melee weapons for light infantry. I was an infantry rifleman in the U.S. Army. I was 11 Bravo. And let me tell you, you could do forced marches of like 30 miles or more, and you'd have about 80 pounds of gear, so you really had to travel light. So if you're going to bring a melee weapon, a backup weapon, it's got to be light and small. Now, the weapon I wanted to carry, because it is so light and small, is this. It's the Smith & Wesson double-edged blade knife. Now, it doesn't have a strap to it that you got to undo. So what I would do is I'd put it on my LBE, my load-bearing equipment, my war vest, and I could just reach for it, pull it out real quick and stab. Now, if I was a commander in the Army, I'd want every one of my soldiers to have one of these. And I want them to have it on their vest here like this. They were light infantry. Now, a lot of guys, when I was in the Army, I'd see them with even bigger weapons than this as their backup knife. My squad leader, he had a knife pretty close to this, which is actually a pretty good weapon. It's light and small enough to where you can carry it, but I'd prefer something smaller myself, but this would, of course, work. The common weapon also was the old brass knuckles. Now, this was issued to paratroopers and also other soldiers in World War II. And this was something small enough and light enough that you could carry, and plus, you could take someone out very quickly in close quarter combat with this. The thing is sometimes, you might not be completely out of bullets, but you'll be out of bullets in your weapon, and the enemy might be out of bullets in their weapon too at the same time. It happens a lot. So going for a melee weapon rather than trying to reload and shoot them while they're trying to reload and shoot you, where you just grab this, take a few steps and go bang, and it's all over. Some other weapons that would work. This is actually a commando dagger. This is a Pakistani knife. This is very, very good knife for the price, and this is more designed for taking out sentries, but it worked just very well for a melee weapon. It's got one real disadvantage: a long blade like this breaks easily in close quarter combat. Weapons like this, all weapons, in hand-to-hand combat, they have a tendency to break. So, regardless. So the other weapon is if you have an E-tool, you can bring this. You can pull this out and you can sharpen the edges of this, and this makes a very good attack weapon, but you can also use it as a shield, a block. Gives you some protection that way. And in Vietnam, let's not forget the old standby, the trench knife, the perfection of close quarter melee technologies of tens of millions of people dying in World War I. Now this double-edged blade, brass knuckle base, and a metal stud at the bottom. So yeah, just even the sight of this, someone coming at you with this, is enough to make a lot of people want to think, I want to go the other direction. Yeah, some soldiers would, carry hatchets in Vietnam. They would do like a hatchet knife combination. Now, the Vietnamese admitted that if they saw a guy, because there was less room to fight in the tight jungle spaces, and they saw Americans coming out with them with a hatchet and knife instead of a bayonet for hand-to-hand combat, they were less likely to engage them by about 3 times than they were somebody coming up with a bayonet. They didn't like going up against guys with these. Now I'll show you. Now this is a different type of trench knife, but it has a 3-sided blade on it, which is actually illegal according to the Geneva Convention. You don't want to be caught with a knife like this on you. A good chance the enemy is just going to kill you right on the spot if they spot you with this. But this has a little better designed handle. It's easier to grab onto than the other trench knife. There's more space in between where the brass knuckle end comes, and that's very advantageous. But I want a double-edged knife on the end of this. I mean, you can also carry something like this. This is fairly light. It's not that compact, but again, something like this is more designed for taking out sentries, and it's probably going to break pretty easily, pretty early in the battle. So that's yeah, and something like a Bowie knife. Now, a Bowie knife, if I'm light infantry, this is just going to be too big and heavy for me to carry around. But if I'm driving in a vehicle, this isn't too big and heavy because I can just throw it back behind my seat. And if it goes hand-to-hand combat, I can pull this out, and this is actually a very effective hand-to-hand combat weapon. Plus, it's not illegal in the rules of war. Now, it's about as deadly as anything out there, about its size and weight, but it's completely legal.